Milwaukee went from nearly $180 to just over $50. Ryobi combo has dropped from $179 to $129. A 60-piece set for just over $40, and no, this isn't Black Friday. If you think the biggest sales of the year only happen during the holidays, then you've probably missed a huge opportunity that's happening right now at Home Depot. Clearance's red price lists are scattered throughout the store, and some products are discounted by over 60%. This isn't a trickle promotion. This is a real clearance sale, and when it's all gone, it's all gone. In this video, I'll take you to each area showing you which deals are truly worth the money, which are just minor discounts, and which ones might disappear in just a few days. If you're waiting for the best time to upgrade your toolkit, you might be right in front of it. There are red price lists that simply offer discounts for fun. And there are price lists that make you stop, look closely one more time, and then wonder, wait, did they print it wrong? These are the deals. It's not a $5 discount just for the sake of it. This is not a marketing gimmick. This is the kind of discount that if you understand the instrument market, you'll know something's going on behind the scenes. We begin with the biggest explosion. 1. Milwaukee Impact Socket Set. Reduced from $179 to $55, almost 65% off. I'm not kidding. A 1/2-inch deep SAE standard impact socket drive used to cost nearly $180. Now it costs $55. Reduced by over $120. If you've ever bought a good quality impact socket, you know that $55 is only enough for a few individual sockets. You have the whole set here. This isn't some cheap entry product. This is Milwaukee. The brand is positioned in a higher segment than Ryobi, competing directly with DeWalt, and many professional tradespeople are even absolutely loyal to it. So what's happening? This type of deep clearance isn't usually due to poor product quality. It usually comes from two reasons: preparing for a new version, clear out the warehouse to free up space for a higher-end line, and when the company decided to release the stock, they didn't reduce it by 10%. They slashed with their hands. Interestingly, this $55 price point almost pushes the product down to the price range of mid-range brands. That means you're paying on the middle floor but receiving quality on the upper floor. If you're a mechanic or building a toolkit for your home garage, this is the kind of deal you don't need to think too long about. But if you're just an occasional user, then honestly, this price still makes it more reasonable than ever. And that's just the beginning. 2. Milwaukee Shockwave 60-piece kit. Reduced from $75 to $42, 44% off. This set may not look as shocking as the socket set above, but don't let the percentages fool you. 60 dishes, socket 3/8 drive, titanium drill bits, screwdriver bit. Everything fits neatly inside the pack-out box. The price is $42. If you buy each item individually, you'll easily surpass the initial $75 mark. This is the power of the all-in-one combo. But there's an interesting detail. Besides this 60-piece set, there is also a 90-piece set, and the 90-piece set only got a $5 discount. Do you see? Not everything labeled clearance is gold. The 60-piece set is the sweetest part, reduced by over 40%. Deep enough to be worth the money, cheap enough to stimulate immediate decision-making. Milwaukee understands one thing. Users like the feeling of buying the whole set. They like to open the box and see that everything is ready. This is the kind of product a newcomer would look at and think, okay, I don't need to think about it anymore. Take it now. And that's how they keep you within the ecosystem. 3. Ryobi Brushless Combo Kit. Reduced from $179 to $129. This is where the story begins to get more interesting. Ryobi is not Milwaukee, and they're not trying to be Milwaukee. They attacked a different group: DIYers, weekend home repairer. People who want to use an 18-volt battery system don't have to sell their kidneys. Drilling and Impact Brushless Combo includes 2 batteries and charger, now $129. If you've ever stepped into the world of wireless tools, you know the real cost isn't the device itself, it's the battery. The 2 batteries in this combo account for almost the majority of the value. At $129, the psychological barrier has almost disappeared. You no longer think, should I invest? You start thinking, at this price, well, I'll just buy it. This is a very clear strategy. bringing new people into the ecosystem at an affordable price. Later, accessories, expansion tools, upgrades. And if you make a quick comparison with some DeWalt combos in the same segment, you'll find this price is extremely competitive. It's not the cheapest at all times of the year, but it's attractive enough to act now. 4. Makita/Diablo clearance. Depreciating accessories. This is what many people overlook, and that was a mistake. Oscillating blade set reduced from $30 to $17. 28 reciprocating blades reduced from $27 to $17. 50 sanding discs reduced from $20 to $15.90. It doesn't sound as grand as the $179 socket set, but if you work regularly, you know that consumable accessories are what make the money. Cutting blade, drill bit, rough disc. You don't buy it once and use it for a lifetime. You buy it back, and again, and again. When these items drop by almost 40 to 50%, that's when you should buy in bulk. It's not because of greed, but because you know you'll use it. And while competitors like Lowe's often keep prices quite rigid for high-quality accessories, Home Depot pushing them down to the $15 to $17 range creates a real advantage. This isn't a shocking deal to show off to your friends. This is a smart deal to optimize long-term costs. What's really going on? If you look at the overall picture, you'll see a pattern. Some bait sets drop extremely deep socket sets of 65%. A few attractive combos are just right. Shockwave, 44%. An entry-level combo is open to beginners. Ryobi, $129, and consumable accessories decreased steadily to increase sales volume. This is no coincidence. This is how Clarity is designed to create a buzz. Pull people into the store. Make them buy more than one item. But if you know how to be selective, you can leverage that strategy instead of being led astray by it. And believe me, the real deals worth the money aren't found on every red price list. They lie in numbers with logic behind them. This section only shows the deepest declines. But there's another even more dangerous price range. Items under $20. These are the things you put in your basket for fun and end up being the wisest savings. We'll go over there shortly. And if you prefer straightforward, unembellished, non-PR analysis, you can follow the channel so you don't miss these kinds of deal dissections. No fuss, just the truth behind the numbers. Now, prepare yourself for the most dangerous area of the store. Now we've reached the truly dangerous area. Not the $179 socket set, not a $129 combo. But those are tiny numbers, $11.90 to $15.90 to $19.98. Sounds harmless, but this is where your money evaporates the fastest and where Home Depot plays its most sophisticated psychological game. Husky tools, $11.90, and you start to let your guard down. 3-piece pliers, $11.90, 3-piece utility knife, $11.90, 14-piece screwdriver set, $11.90. I stood in front of this shelf and laughed. $11.90. That's the price your brain isn't activating for analysis. It activates the never mind mode. You don't ask yourself, is steel good? Is the ratchet mechanism durable? You think it's only $11, and that's the secret. In the under $20 range, buyers no longer calculate ROI. They didn't compare the 5 stores. They don't open Amazon to check prices. They put it in the basket. Compared to Lowe's, Husky is often positioned as a budget-friendly option, but when it drops to $11.90, it's almost in competition with unbranded products. And that's when branding plus lifetime warranties started to become attractive. This is not a life-changing deal. This deal allows you to buy 2 to 3 more items that you didn't initially intend to buy. Diablo and accessories, $15.90, and the real game begins. 4.5-inch diamond blades, 2 pieces, $15.90, 16-piece wood drill bit set, $15.90. 50 sand demon sanding discs, $15.90. There's something strange going on at this price. 15.90 sounds strangely reasonable. Not 19.99, not 17.49. 15.90, low enough to feel like a bargain, tall enough not to be suspected of being trash. Consumable accessories are not sexy. Nobody boasted that I had just bought 50 sandpaper discs. But if you've ever actually worked on a project, you know that what makes money isn't the machine body, but the tongue, nose, and disc. And when these things drop by almost 20 to 40%, you're saving in the long term, not just buying for fun. Compared to the competition, Diablo is often not the cheapest brand on the shelves. But when it dropped to the $15 zone, it started kicking into the courts of mid-range brands. That's when you ask yourself, what's the point of buying a cheaper one? Milwaukee gift sets, $15.98, and retention strategy. Milwaukee gift sets go from $20 down to $15.98. I don't hear much, but look closely. Milwaukee rarely experiences unwarranted sharp declines. Clearance at this level is typically for seasonal clearing or packaging changes. But for loyal users, this is an opportunity to expand their collection without breaking the bank. And once you have 2 to 3 Milwaukee items in your workshop, you start to form a small ecosystem. Nobody said it, but that's how they keep you. This is the most interesting part. Studies on consumer behavior show that below a certain threshold, usually around $20, buyers compare prices less frequently, less delay in making decisions, ready to buy more beyond the list. Home Depot knows this. You're here because of the $55 socket set. You come out with 11.90 pliers, cutting blade 15.90, 15.90 grit sand disc. That's an extra $40 to $50, and you don't feel burdened at all. That is art. But if you stay alert, you can turn the tables. Instead of buying impulsively, look at the things you'll actually be using in the next 3 to 6 months and buy at a clearance level. It's not because it's cheap, but because you know you'll spend that money sooner or later. And this is just the bottom layer of the price list. Above, there's another area that's even more dangerous: batteries and the ecosystem, where price doesn't just affect one item, it affects your entire shopping strategy. We'll go straight there shortly. If you prefer a deal-based approach instead of just listing prices, you can follow the channel. You don't need to press it right now, but if these numbers make you think differently, then perhaps we're on the same frequency. Now, let's move on to the part where the companies actually make money: batteries. Now we're talking about what companies actually make money from. Not the main body, not a combo, it's the battery. You can buy a drill set at a good price. But the moment you decide you're going to stick with this system, the game changes completely. And right now, Home Depot is dropping precisely at that point. Ryobi 4 amp-hour 2-pack. Reduced from $99 to $69. Get a $30 discount on 2 4 amp-hour batteries. That doesn't sound too dramatic compared to those 60% drops just now. But if you've ever bought individual batteries, you know that battery prices are rarely low. Batteries are something the company is almost unwilling to drastically reduce, because the profit margin lies here. When 2 4 amp-hour tablets drop to $69, you're paying around $34 to $35 each. At that level, it's almost the same price as a no-name battery on the market. This is where the strategy begins to emerge. They don't just sell batteries, they are drawing you deeper into the 18-volt ecosystem. Do you have 2 batteries? You might think of circular saw, lawn mower, leaf blower, vacuum cleaner. And because you already have the battery, each subsequent device becomes more emotionally cheaper. That's a psychological blow. Ryobi 6 amp-hour 2-pack. Reduced by $20 from $169 to $149. The reduction wasn't too significant, but 6 amp-hours capacity is a different story. 6 amp-hours is not for occasional use. It is for high-power machines. Long project. People who don't want to constantly change batteries. When high-capacity batteries go on sale, it's not just about saving money. It's an upgrade to the experience. And if you compare it to DeWalt or Milwaukee with the same capacity, you'll see that this price point still maintains a competitive advantage in the DIY semi-professional segment. Interestingly, Ryobi isn't trying to compete directly with Milwaukee in terms of performance. They compete on entrance costs. Cheap battery prices equals low barrier to entry. Low barriers equals large ecosystems. This is the part that few people talk about. When battery prices drop, tool sales increase accordingly. Once you have 3 to 4 batteries, you start thinking this: let's just buy the main unit to complete the set. That's no coincidence. That's how companies keep you in a loop. But if you look at it from the perspective of a smart buyer, this is an opportunity. Buy batteries when clearing. Buy the camera body when you have a separate deal. Separate the strategy instead of buying combos based on emotion. By doing so, you are playing by the same rules, not being led astray. And this is the deeper level of the game. Because right after the battery comes something even more dangerous: buy more, save more. And BOGO programs, where you think you're getting a free gift, but you're actually being very carefully calculated. We will separate that part shortly. If you prefer delving deeper into the pricing strategy, rather than just looking at the discount table, you can follow the channel. Not to buy more, but to buy more accurately. Now, let's move on to the part where free text appears most often. This is where things get interesting. You've seen clarity. You've seen batteries on sale. Now there's a huge sign hanging in the middle of the store: buy more, save more. It sounds very simple. Buy 2, save $100. Buy 3, save $200. It sounds like money is falling from the ceiling. But wait a minute. Buying a lot, saving a lot. Really? This strategy strikes directly at a very basic instinct. If you're going to buy it, then buy it for the price. For example, you only need one machine. But if you buy another one, you'll save $100. Suddenly you start thinking, just take 2, and that'll be enough. Home Depot doesn't force you to buy. They only create a gap attractive enough for you to force yourself. And what's the most subtle thing you don't feel like you're being sold off? You feel optimal. What is the difference between a combo and a retail purchase? This is what many people overlook. When buy more, save more is available, the price of each item individually is often not the best. The best level only appears when you reach your spending threshold. That is, not reaching the threshold leads to normal price. Exceeding the threshold leads to suddenly everything is cheaper. Compared to Lowe's, they also do similar promo, but Home Depot often combines it with clearance in parallel. And that's what's dangerous. You might encounter this situation: an item that is clearing is down 40%. Another item is participating in buy more, save more. If the calculations are correct, you can maximize both. Otherwise, you might get carried away by the large sign and miss the deep deal lying silently beside it. Clearance and promo. Who's the final boss? Here's a secret few people tell: clearance is generally stronger than promo. Because promo is a sales growth strategy. Clearance, on the other hand, is a strategy for freeing up inventory. When they need to clear out their inventory, they are willing to offer much deeper discounts. Buy more, save more makes you spend more. Clearance made them accept less. The two objectives are completely different. And if you're faced with a choice between a 20% discount on promo, one item is discounted by 50% according to clearance, the answer is usually quite clear. Buy more, save more isn't bad, it's just a mechanism. It works extremely well when you're already planning to buy a lot of things. You are building a new tool system. You need a matching combo. It works poorly when you only need the right item. You are stimulated by the word save money. And the truth is, many people buy more just to reach the milestone. That's where the budget started to slip out of the plan. But the story doesn't end there. Because when you combine deep clearance plus discounted batteries plus buy more, save more, you start entering a completely different shopping strategy where you no longer react to price lists but proactively build your toolset layer by layer. If you like how we peel back the strategy behind these red boards, you can follow the channel. Not to buy more, but to avoid being bought on behalf of others. Now, let's put it all together. Clearance is 60% deep. The combo looks like a great deal. Battery prices dropped at just the right time. Buy more, save more is hanging everywhere. The picture now isn't just about whether there's a deal or not, but whether you can see the structure behind it. There are some dishes that are truly worth the money right away. There are some items that are only reduced just enough to make you waver. And there are some dishes that sound very appealing. Until you think about it again. The important thing isn't to buy the most, but it's the best way to buy it. Now I want to hear from you. What's the best deal you've caught recently? Is there anything in the video that will make you want to turn your car around and head straight to the store? Do you think this clearance is stronger or weaker than last year? Share in the comments. I read it all. If you prefer a straightforward, flattering, and no advertisement approach, you can subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any further breaks. No need to click yet, but if this content saves you money, then perhaps we should meet again in a later video. A small note. Prices and availability may vary from store to store and from time to time. Clearance is often a no-no, so double-check in your local area before making a decision. This content is for personal sharing and analysis only, and is not a financial recommendation or mandatory purchase. See you at the next deal hunt.